welcome in everybody. It's Ruby with Ruby's Lighthouse Tarot. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. All right, so guys, today what I'm going to be doing is getting some energy for everybody who is interested in new love, okay? So this could be somebody that you know, somebody that you could be coming into contact with pretty soon here. But I'm just hearing for those of you tuning in that this story is going to resonate for. This is going to shock you. This is going to surprise you. And this person's not going to be exactly what you're expecting by how they present themselves on the outside. Okay, so there could be something about them that you kind of have to, you take a step back and you kind of question for a minute. Like, for example, somebody who's really attractive, right? Super physically attractive. And you're like, why are you interested in me for some reason? Okay, so there's going to be something like that. There could also be some sort of differences between the two of you where you think to yourself, oh, I don't date people younger than this age. And then they're younger than that age. Of course, two adults, right? Or there could be some sort of difference in where you live, where you're from, and you could meet them in this unexpected way. Also, there could be like a difference in race. They could be a gender that you don't usually typically date. Something like that's going to be different, that's going to be surprising you. So, if you think this reading could resonate for you, please stick around. All right, so you may have met them, but you don't know them like that at this time. All right, so I'm just getting I'm getting kind eyes, very powerfully kind eyes. When you meet this person, you're going to be like, whoa, and you're going to just not be able to stop looking at their eyes for some reason. It's going to be really entrancing. They're not showing me a color, but I'm seeing very warm, open, loving eyes. You feel like you're understood when you look at them. All right. Stop and reflect. Pause in your journey to appreciate how far you've come and where you're headed. Yeah, so guys, this is someone who represents how far you have come. Okay, they represent how far you have come because something about them shows a difference in the way that you're approaching this relationship or the way that this person is approaching you. So there's something that you've overcome, and Spirit's saying, when you meet them, stop and reflect how far you come and where you're headed now. It's like, for example, like say you've always chosen people who weren't able to give you what you needed, right? It's actually a form of blocking your own heart chakra, right? Because you're not allowing yourself to be loved by someone who can give you what you actually need. You're choosing to stay in some sort of energy like limerence, where you're trying to always seek something that is never wanting to find you back. And so that's what Spirit is saying right now. Yes, they're saying fresh ideas. I just saw that. So stay open-minded, inviting new perspectives to enrich your journey and spark creative solutions. So it's like, perhaps, like, for example, when you meet this person, they're like, oh yeah, I live in France for half the year. And you're like, oh, well, I live in the United States. And they're like, why don't you come with me? Right? And it's this new, fresh perspective where you're like, normally, I never would have done that. Normally, I never would have considered doing something different, right? Let's see what's on the bottom here. It says, step into the enveloping valley of shadows. Here, fears are faced, and the courage is forged in dimly lit paths. Right, so there's something about it that's going to require you to step into a different place in terms of you facing your own fears. So you might have to do something that's slightly uncomfortable or different, right, with this person that is forcing you to face some of your own shadow, some places where you have restricted yourself in your life, okay? So they're showing me Eight of Swords. My guides are showing me Eight of Swords. So in the Eight of Swords card, in the traditional tarot, right, the person is wrapped, but they're wrapped in silk. Okay. And they're in this position where they're like this, and they're wrapped in silk, and all around them, they have swords that they have placed on their own mind, their own mindset. Okay. So a mindset of restriction, a mindset of not being good enough, a mindset of belief that has been placed there by you, by your own brain, your mind, because you're not living within the soul, you're living within the mind. We are mind, soul, and body, right? So this is like allowing the mind to entrap the soul. But within yourself, you can release yourself from doing that. Stop and reflect. Pausing in your journey to be like, okay, here's the point where in the past I have placed these self-restrictions on, like this belief that this could not happen because of A, B, C, or D reason. So when that person says to you, again, as the example, I live in France half the year. How am I going to approach that differently now? Instead of just being like, oh, won't work, moving on to the next, right? Just ghosting them or whatever the old patterns are that are needing to be addressed. Something is going to tell you to be still. They're saying be still in the moment and reflect and try to think about something differently. Try to allow yourself to view things with a fresh perspective and fresh ideas. Okay? And so part of that is like, where have I come from to see where am I going? All right, so let's get a card on that real quick. Where am I coming from? Okay, inner peace obstruction. I ain't lying, guys. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's self-obstruction. Okay, and it popped right out. And look at this. Okay, so look how the person's like this, right? Shh. Like, we're not going to talk about it. And there's like all these things from the past. And my guides are saying ghosts of the past. Okay, a sense of unrest, anxiety, or inner turmoil preventing you from feeling calm or centered. It may manifest as difficulty finding quiet moments, which is what I'm talking about, right? Emotional reactivity or an overwhelming need to control external circumstances to feel at peace, right? So accepting that you're not going to have control here in a situation. You don't get to control where this person is from. You don't get to control what they look like on the outside. You don't get to control what age they are. You don't get to control, because love has no boundaries. Love has no limits, right? So love doesn't see race. So love doesn't see gender. Love doesn't see age. Love is simply love. And so Spirit is saying, instead of to embrace the courage of allowing, because that's where true courage comes from when it comes to love relationships, allowing the love to come in and allowing yourself to feel it, even though you don't have complete control over the situation with this person. And you don't have it all mapped out on how it's gonna all play out. Spirit is saying that this fresh idea, look at this, there could be high Sag, I'm getting Sagittarius with the arrow there, that if you stay open-minded, right, and invite new perspectives, it's going to enrich your journey and spark creative solutions. But they're also telling me too, it's going to help you work on your own sacral energy, right? Because I feel like as you've been having this obstruction, I'm seeing how it's like clearly your crown chakra is not able to be there. Your throat chakra is not able to be there with this energy here. And so what's below that? The rest of the chakras with your heart, right? So sacrally, you're blocked, right? And, you know, the woulda, coulda, shouldas are also blocked, right? With your solar plexus and your throat. So your heart as well. Everything is being blocked outside, right? And so there is an obstruction here. But what do we do? What is below the throat chakra is the heart chakra, right? So can you sit, stop, and reflect to be in that heart chakra energy? To allow these fresh ideas in sacrally, to think of creative solutions with this person when you do meet them. Yeah, so it's like addressing these fears, embracing the courage, right? Because true love requires extreme courage, especially when you're doing something new and you're stepping outside of the comfort zone, a comfort zone which you feel like has kept you safe, but in reality it has kept you bound by yourself. Okay, so even in the Lover's card, the Devil card. Interesting. So this could be, because I said lovers, remember everything I say in a reading could resonate. Even in the Devil card, there's these chains, and the divine masculine, divine feminine are chained here. Remember, there's no gender, right? But what I'm talking about is there's chains that the devil has there, right? And those chains, there's like a chain around their neck, and then it goes from each of them to the devil energy. What are those chains? Those chains are ego, our own mind that gets in the way of that. And I just saw 1111 on my timer, okay? But those chains aren't tight. It can be released at any time with a choice. It starts simply with a choice, right? About choosing to do differently, choosing to stop and reflect, choosing to see things from a different perspective is going to release you to be able to love this person. I'm hearing the way they've always deserved to be loved, and it's going to open yourself up to being loved the way you've always deserved to be loved, and not allowing these other things to get in the way, right? So they were talking about unrest, anxiety, inner turmoil, preventing you from feeling calm or centered. Unrest, anxiety, and turmoil is here. Being calm and centered is in our heart space, in our heart chakra, in allowing ourselves to feel and exist and be and stop and reflect in this moment. Okay? Okay. So let's pull a couple tarot cards. I do have these in both upright and reversal. What would you like to say? The Fool. Yeah. Look at her open heart chakra here. So that's what the requirement is going to be for you, collective, or whoever's watching this video, or for this other person who's coming towards you that's in this new love energy. It's about embracing the new. And even here, they're showing me how normally there's a little dog that's next to the Fool card. Okay, but we have a fox. Okay, so foxes mate for life. And also it's about, they're just telling me, they're saying ingenuity. So this is all about fresh ideas. Foxes are very intelligent and smart, okay? And they might approach something from a different perspective. Yeah, you both are trying to move into calmer waters with your lives, okay? You both have been through a lot, because with the Six of Swords, you're moving past the Five of Swords type energy. So you both have been burned pretty hard. This person understands it. They get it because they've also been burned really hard. Okay. You guys have both experienced the Valley of Shadows energy. Step into the enveloping Valley of Shadows. Here fears are faced and the courage is forged in dimly lit paths. Again, it's really screaming like moon type energy. The moon is about working through, walking one step at a time and working through your own fears, your own deep wounding, right? To be able to get there. Okay. To allow. They're saying allow. Yeah, seeing something from a different perspective with the Hangman on this new beginning. Okay. So it may have taken you some time to get there, or this person the time to get there. But this is most definitely a soulmate type relationship. They're showing me Six of Cups. Here's the Devil card that I was just talking about. Okay, so in this depiction, they don't have the chain around their neck. Their chain is in the sacral. Do you see that? Okay, and I was seeing that very specifically. So your sacral energy is your kind of like your sexual type energy here. So it's in between the solar plexus. Solar plexus really is more like this above the belly button. Sacral is more down here. These people are chained sacrally Okay. But they're not, they've got this little wimpy rope here, guys. This is a little wimpy rope. Okay. So can you give me an overall energy here? But what I was saying is this is a divine sort of energy that is coming in for you, because you're going to be getting some sort of activation within the eye area. With the eyes of this person, you're going to know who I'm talking about based off of their eyes, the way they look at you, the way you look at each other, or they could feel activated by your eyes. Maybe what I'm seeing is your eyes being very open, welcoming, kind, and there's some sort of soul recognition. Okay. All right. So what came up, what just wanted to pop out was the Three of Wands. I feel like you do feel this coming in. You do feel this coming in. And what they're showing me here is, do you see, you may go out to coffee with this person. It's that's very possible. But what I'm seeing right here is, look at this camera. For the first time that I've ever seen this card, my guides are pointing me to the camera. And that is why they're telling you that this is about pausing, stopping, and reflecting on the past. Because the past to me can be very much represented by camera, by pictures, right? By nostalgia. And this man in this picture is sitting there thinking about the past. They're thinking about where I've been and where I'm going, right? That's what Three of Wands is. You already manifested this to come in, and the question is, what is coming in? How are you going to choose to do things differently this time with this new love energy? See, we have that Five of Swords underneath. I was just talking about coming out of that energy, right? Coming out of the pain, the loss, the people that you dealt with that were only there for their own benefit. Yep, we have the Lovers. This could very well be twin flame. Yep, with the Ace of Pentacles here. So a new beginning with this person. Overcoming this devil energy. It's a choice. Stop and reflect. Are you going to choose with your head, with the fear, with the obstructions, with the anxiety, with the woulda, coulda, shouldas, with the ghosts of the past? Or are you going to choose with your heart, being open, being in that energy of love, choosing to see things from a fresh perspective? Okay. Yes. Spirit is confirming this with Ace of Swords. Okay. Again, yes, with the Lovers, it is about a choice. This is a choice. So when you meet this person, if you don't already know them, you will be getting an almost instant soul activation that is going to come in from the eyes. It's going to cause you to immediately step back, stop and reflect, thinking about the past. And you may go into a little bit of an awakening sort of energy where you're stopping and reflecting, okay? All right, so what do we have here? What just came out? So the Wheel of Fortune is sticking out. So I'm going to put that with the Three of Wands energy. This is divinely guided. It is divine timing, and it was always divinely orchestrated to come. You were supposed to meet this person at this time, all right? And things are going to be really different from the past. No longer are you going to be out in the shadows, left in the cold by these other dynamics, these people who just couldn't give you what you were needing, right? This is not the way that things are going to be in the future. Yeah, people who hid, right? People who hid their intentions, maybe people who, I just heard love bombed, like they made it seem like they were going to be there for you and then they weren't, or people that were really surface level, people who didn't open themselves up with that courage. Right? It's going to be any one of those things for you. We got the King of Pentacles. So he's driving his ship. He's steering his ship towards you. This is someone who's going to be showing up every single day. They want to lock it down. They want to have the family and the children and whatever it is that you feel like is your end all be all situation, a long-term situation. Okay? And there could be children involved with this Page of Cups type energy, or they're seeing this as new, fresh ideas. So that's what I heard from Spirit. So they want to make things real. They will be expressing themselves to you pretty openly, I'm hearing, because look at this Page of Cups. He's he's blowing into his chaunch or conch or whatever, however you say it, shell. Okay. So there's going to be an expression of feelings, but I do think you guys are going to be talking about how you both have experienced this valley of shadows type energy and how you've had to free yourselves from that energy, because it just kept you at a place of lack. Yeah, so the Hermit's here to say, yes, we know what you've done in terms of this work. What you're really looking for this time is something that's going to be equal, right? Equal give and take. Yeah, I just saw the Strength card on the split. So I was just looking at the Devil energy here, and I want to clarify this Devil Nine of Pentacles. What is it? Tell me more about this Devil Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, so again, King of Wands, Four of Cups. So a missed opportunity, something that you should have gone after in the past, or this person should have gone after the past. Again, though, with King of Wands, it's very sacral. It's allowing yourself to make decisions. So you're a king, or this person's a king, right? Either way. But this is about someone who has the this is like very much Sag energy. Again, I'm getting Sag and Leo really strong in this reading. But they have the perfect combination of go-getter, creativity, going after what they want, like seeing the beauty in all things. I'm hearing that, making decisions for the best and the good of all. So this person has both. They see both, right? But they've rejected situations, or they've been rejected in the past. You also could have been rejected in the past by these other situations. They were missed opportunities to you. But look, we have the conch shell here, and it's the exact same one that this Page of Cups is blowing into. Same size and everything. So this is about taking action now in a different way. Star. So again, this star is very warm energy. This decision is being made through the heart. Also, I'm getting very strong Aquarius type energy here. Okay, so any actions and advice? Yeah, could very well be a divine counterpart. That's the Emperor right there. Actions and advice from Spirit for you on this new love. Besides stop and reflect, we know that already, right? So we got Two of Swords, Nine of Swords, Nine of Cups. Again, working through the anxiety in order to get what you want. This person with the Two of Swords is blocking their own wish fulfillment, right? Because they're having anxiety. So what is this need for anxiety here? A sense of unrest, anxiety, and inner turmoil, preventing you from feeling calm and centered, right? So how are we going to do this differently this time? Let's get some advice from Spirit on that for you guys. Any advice from Spirit on this? Because you want your wish fulfillment. You want to have that. You want to be happy, but it requires, with the Hangman, it requires a sacrifice, right? Okay. Reassess and detach. Okay. You're being asked to detach from something you've been holding on to. When we hold on too tightly to the desired outcome, it restricts the flow. Trust that the outcome will work out and let go of your attachment. That's what this is talking about. Letting go of your need to control, your need to know the outcome before you get into something. You're not going to always have the answer ahead of time. You just aren't. Especially when it's real love, because it requires the sacrifice. They're telling me the sacrifice of control. So that is the Hangman, right? And then during that time, you're being asked to take stock of your life, right? That stop and reflect energy, letting go of anything or anyone that no longer makes you happy. Notice who and what brings you joy and who and what doesn't. It's time for some life cleanup. And how do we notice that with our intuition? It's from here. It's from our heart. It's from pausing and saying, Okay, well, I just had this interaction with this person. How do I feel now? What am I feeling at this moment? How many times do we really take that time to assess how someone actually makes us feel in the moment? When you're done talking to someone, do you feel lighter, brighter, sparkly? Do you feel like you've been understood? Or do you feel the opposite energy? Do you feel the darkness energy? Do you feel shadow? Do you feel like you're questioning yourself? Those are the questions that you need to start addressing during this time to work you through this block energy here, okay? All right, so I hope something in that reading resonated for you. Thank you so much, Collective. I am doing private readings right now. I'm doing both pre-recorded ones, which you can just order and I will send to you. And I'm also doing live Zooms. All right, so you can pick whichever one you want. My link is in the description box and I will be back on your next reading. Thanks so much and I'll see you next time. Bye.
So I'll rest within the silence, your presence my disguise. For in the dark there's always light in your ember.